So, you know, it's not often that I comment on things that I feel is really idiotic and stupid, unless I find it really, really fucking idiotic and asinine and just plain fucking stupid, all right? But the world is filled with a lot of idiots, and most humans, you know, regardless of race, ethnicity, and generation, they do have a herd mentality. And there are a lot of people, as much as I hate to say this too, black people especially, they want to be slaves. And see, as children, we're all objective, but there's a lot of societies, institutions that try to dumb us down and, you know, prevent us from being objective. I can't do that. I can't support stupidity and fairy tales, but that's just the type of person that I am. And it has gotten me in a lot of trouble, but it has also helped me. And that is for me, that's a gift and it's a curse. So where am I going with this? Well, it's not often that I go on YouTube and, you know, just search around for other people's blogs and vlogs and stuff like that. It's not often that I do that. But even if you don't agree with a person, it's always good to listen to what they have to say so that you can combat it. Not so that you can be like bitch ass Absurdity or Obsidian or whatever the fuck his name is, who just has a weird fetish for debating every damn thing to death. That's not me. So there's a guy who is very popular on YouTube. He gets a lot of praise, and I'm not attacking him. I listened to about 2 or 3 of his videos over the years. A guy who goes by the name of David Carroll. He puffs cigars. He got pictures of Martin Luther King upside down and a monkey and a banana. I don't know what the hell that's about. Okay, I really don't. But I just stumbled across a video that he made recently about why he opposes Martin Luther King Day. And I didn't get to listen to the video, but I read some of the comments and I kind of knew where it was going. I'm not sure if the guy calls himself a black respectability Negro type or conservative type, but I mean, some things you kind of know where it's going. My question is, so what if Martin Luther King was a player or adulterer or fornicator? So what? And the same question can be asked about a guy like Gandhi. They say Gandhi was a bisexual racist and he had a thing for 15, 16, 17-year-old teenage girls, and you know, he had man crushes and sissy crushes or whatever. Okay, so what? These people were freedom fighters, and they fought so that we can have the luxuries and the personal choices that we can have today. And the fact that somebody would shit on a person's legacy, a person who's a civil rights leader or a freedom fighter, just because of what goes on in their personal life, it's some of the stupidest shit I ever heard. Okay, as far as Martin Luther King goes, okay, yes, we all should know that, okay, at one point Malcolm X was a pimp. We should know that. We should know that Eldridge Cleaver, who was a part of the Black Panther Party, he was a rapist. Now, Oliver Stone, I think this was back in 2014, 2015, he wanted to do a movie about Martin Luther King, and he wanted Jamie Foxx to play as Martin Luther King and expose the dark side of Martin Luther King, saying, okay, well, he cheated on his then wife, Coretta Scott King, with a bunch of white women, white hookers, and white prostitutes, and he had a thing for beating up on them or whooping their ass. I don't know if he beat up on them on some woman beater type shit. I don't know if he was whooping on them on some 50 Shades of Grey BDSM type of shit where he would get belts and paddles and just spank chicks. Okay. Of course, you're going to have some of these same black respectability Negroes who will sit up and say, well, if he did that, I would lose respect for him. So you're going to tarnish a man's legacy based on his personal life? Really? Don't you understand? Now, of course, a lot of people, I've heard people say ever since I was a kid, well, we black people would not be where we were if it hadn't have been for Martin Luther King. Maybe, maybe not. See, I'm the type of person who thinks a lot. Sometimes I overthink things. Sometimes it gets me into trouble. Sometimes it doesn't. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if he was the type of person who did his share of screwing around on his wife and cheat on his wife with white women and white hoes, white sex workers, so what? Okay, a person is not allowed to have a personal life just because they have to be dedicated to some type of cause. First of all, okay, even if he was that type of person, or whatever type of skeletons you want to pull out of his closet maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, even then, he was far less fucked up than the white men who he stood up against. Same with Malcolm. So what, he was a pimp before he found Nation of Islam. Even then. And I would never give a free pass to a rapist, but even a guy like Eldridge Cleaver, even he was far less fucked up than the white people who they stood up against. All right? And to me, this shit is really stupid. And I really don't talk about stuff like this because, first of all, I'm going to say this. I don't like saint-like figures. Martin Luther King was painted as a saint-like figure, and so was Gandhi and a lot of other freedom fighters throughout history. But a lot of that is a byproduct of white liberal guilt and white conservatism. It is also a byproduct of black respectability politics. Yes, once again, black respectability politics that paints people as saint-like figures, or like they were sent from heaven, or that they have no skeletons in their closet. And to me, that's boring. I don't like saint-like figures. I don't like them in my personal life. I don't like reading about the history of them. All right? It's flaws and weaknesses and having a dark side that makes people very, very interesting. All right? It's people's dark sides and darknesses that makes them very interesting people, and people who are worthy of paying attention to, and people who are worthy of reading about. I know this, and there's only very few people, guys, who know this, and there's a lot of women who know this too, and I'm not going to turn this into another one of them lame discussions about women choosing so-called thugs or whatever, but in the back of their mind, they know this too, you know. But for a person to sit around and try to tarnish a person's legacy, especially a person who made it to where you can have the freedoms that you have today, freedom of speech, freedom of agency, and the freedom to make your own personal lifestyle choices because of a person who has skeletons in their closet, because of a person's sex life, or because a person was an adulterer. Don't you understand that the people who they stood up against had so many more skeletons in their closet than MLK, than Gandhi, Eldridge Cleaver, the Black Panther Party, Malcolm X, and so on and so forth? Don't you understand that? So you have, and again, it just proves my point about how you have so many fake pseudo-intellectuals out here. They shoot themselves in the foot, they shoot themselves in the dick so bad. And some people just like to hear themselves talk. I really don't. So Oliver Stone was going to do a movie about this, about 3-4 years ago, and of course the NAACP and Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, they put an end to it because they felt like, okay, you're tarnishing this man's legacy by airing out his dirty laundry, or because, again, they embraced this black respectability politics bullshit, begging for social acceptance from society. And Oliver Stone came out and he's just put an end to the project that he was going to do. And I believe it was going to be a good movie. For those of you who don't know who Oliver Stone is, he did the screenplay for Scarface. He directed Any Given Sunday, JFK, Natural Born Killers. And he has something to do with this prison movie called Midnight Express that came out back in '78. All right. So, and he just came out and he said, you know, they smothered this man and they smothered the dream, and, you know, and I agreed with Oliver Stone. Yeah, but unfortunately, there's a lot of Negroes who do feel this way. But like I said, they want to be slaves and they beg so much for acceptability. What they don't understand is what every other race of people understand, is that it's better to be hated for who you are than to be liked for who you're not. And getting people to feel safe around you is not the same as getting a person to respect you or to stay out of your way if they're not going to respect you. They don't understand. They don't want to understand that. And then they wonder why they get treated like shit and why people use them as doormats and punching bags. I'm thinking now, like, why am I even making this video? But you know what? A lot of people, their minds just do not think this far. Anyway, I just want to put that out there. You know, and of course, the only reason why white America prefers these peaceful, nonviolent types now is because they were just the lesser of two evils, because they knew that the other guys wasn't playing around with them. But as I've said previously, you know, the concept of good versus evil and all of this moral versus immoral or amoral, it screws us up every time, and it prevents us from going out here and creating a lot of golden opportunities, not just for ourselves, but even future generations. I can't entertain this shit no more.